you believe in fate? What began as an ordinary day in a busy city would soon become one of the most unforgettable turning points of my life. At that time, I was simply an ordinary young man, living among countless faces in the vibrant streets of Japan. Life was predictable. Work, daily routines, the quiet comfort of small habits. Kate, on the other hand, was a young woman navigating her own path, carrying her dreams and uncertainties, just like anyone else. We were strangers in the same world, two stories running in parallel, with no expectation that our paths would ever cross. Yet sometimes, the most extraordinary things start from the simplest moments. It was in a modest little restaurant where our stories finally touched. When our eyes met, it was nothing dramatic, nothing that belonged in a movie script. It was just a simple glance, followed by a polite smile, and then a few kind words of greeting. And yet, that tiny moment was enough to open a door neither of us had imagined. A door that led to friendship, to connection, and eventually to something much deeper. I realize how often we underestimate these small beginnings. We expect love or meaningful relationships to arrive in dramatic ways, filled with passion and intensity. But sometimes, it is the gentle conversations, the ordinary greetings, and the shared laughter in quiet corners that build the strongest foundation. What struck me most about that first meeting was how natural it felt. There was no pressure to impress, no attempt to hide flaws or pretend to be someone else. It was simply two people exchanging thoughts about everyday life, the weather, the food, the small details that seem unimportant at first glance. But in those details, I discovered something powerful, the comfort of being understood without needing to say too much. This was the very beginning of a journey I never expected. It taught me that love and connection often grow not from grand gestures, but from moments of authenticity and sincerity. When you open yourself to the possibility that every encounter might hold meaning, you allow life to surprise you in the most beautiful ways. After that first meeting, life seemed to take on a new rhythm. What started as a polite exchange soon became a habit we both looked forward to. Whenever our paths crossed at the little restaurant, we would pause, share a few words, and slowly, those conversations grew into something more meaningful. It amazed me how naturally our bond developed. There was never a grand plan, no formal agreement to become close. Instead, it unfolded through the simplest gestures. A shared laugh about something trivial, a thoughtful question asked at just the right time, a moment of quiet understanding when words weren't even needed. Those everyday exchanges stitched together a fabric of companionship that felt both effortless and irreplaceable. The restaurant, once just another spot in the city, became our special corner. After long workdays, we would meet there, not for anything extravagant, but to simply share a meal and talk. With each passing day, I began to realize that what we were building wasn't just friendship. It was the foundation of something that carried the warmth of love. The more time we spent together, the more our connection grew. And with it came a sense of excitement, not the kind that fades quickly, but one that deepens as trust is built. Each meeting wasn't just about food or conversation. It was about the anticipation of being seen, understood, and appreciated for who we truly were. I think this is one of the most inspiring lessons love can teach us, that genuine connection doesn't need to be forced. When two people share respect, kindness, and sincerity, joy begins to flow naturally. And it is in those natural rhythms that relationships grow strongest. At that stage, I didn't dare call it love just yet, but I could feel something powerful forming. It was the quiet excitement of knowing that life had gifted me with someone special, And perhaps it was also the first whisper of fate, soft, subtle, but undeniably present. As our bond grew stronger, life naturally tested it in subtle ways. Love, no matter how beautiful, is never without its challenges. But what I learned is that these challenges are not there to break us. They exist to help us grow. There were times when our schedules didn't align. Work would run late, and suddenly, the evening we had planned together would slip away. At first, these missed moments left behind a quiet sense of disappointment. I wondered if she felt the same way, or if the distance created by life's responsibilities would slowly wear down what we had built. And then there were misunderstandings, small ones, the kind that arise when two people are still learning how to navigate each other's rhythms. A word said too quickly, or a tone that didn't come out as intended. They were never serious, but even small shadows can momentarily cloud the brightness of a relationship. In those moments, it would have been easy to let frustration or silence take over. But something deeper reminded us that love is not only about the sweet and joyful times, it is also about patience, understanding, and choosing to see the bigger picture. Kate often reminded me with her calm presence that every relationship is a journey of learning. Instead of holding on to hurt, she would ask questions, listen carefully, and encourage me to share openly. And I, in turn, began to realize that respect is not shown only through grand gestures, but through the willingness to pause, to listen, and to forgive. Misunderstandings became opportunities for us to better understand each other's perspectives. Missed evenings became reminders of the importance of making the most of the time we did have. What amazed me most was how these challenges, rather than pushing us apart, actually brought us closer. Each time we worked through a difficulty, our bond felt stronger. Each time we chose respect over anger, patience over haste, we built another layer of trust. I now see these challenges as essential to our story. They were not setbacks, but lessons. They taught us resilience. They reminded us that perfection is never the goal. Growth is, and most importantly, they showed us that true love is not fragile. It is strong enough to endure the trials of everyday life, and it becomes more beautiful because of them. Love often begins in the most ordinary places, yet it carries extraordinary lessons. From a simple meeting grew a bond built on respect, patience, and kindness. Challenges reminded us that true love is not about avoiding obstacles, but growing through them together. When you cherish the simple moments and treat each other with care, life becomes richer, and love becomes something truly beautiful to treasure.